Welcome to TRS Clips, where you'll find happiness through your own curiosity. Is there a movie that changed the direction of your life?
Oh, yes. In more ways than I ever imagined it to.
Go on. Which movie was it?
Rocketry.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's like now.
Yeah.
I assumed you'd say something from your teenage or...
No. I can't tell you how excited I am saying that it is something as late as even Shaitaan, for instance, or Rocketry, because I'm still growing, man. I feel a childlike enthusiasm and inquisitiveness in my career and in my life even now. If there's an AI that is coming up with a new tool, wow, I want to know what it is. And I might not be able to use it or be intelligent enough to apply to it completely, but knowing about it makes me feel excited. So yeah, absolutely. And Rocketry dramatically changed my life, and in many ways I can write a book on it. But it just got the biggest impact it had on my life was it made me understand who I really am and what I'm capable of, which I had far underestimated before I started Rocketry.
Expand like this whole thought.
So I'm going to start with a very basic level of it, okay?
Sure.
So I've never directed in my life. I've never actually sat in and my team will vouch for it. I've never sat in an editing room or known what editing is, or how to instruct a music director on how to compose the music, or to tell the VFX guys how to do the VFX, or how to tell the editor also how to edit, right? I was not expecting to direct Rocketry. One of the jumps that I was making in my career was writing the script and screenplay, which I've never done before and I've never trained to do. But I ended up writing the story and the screenplay for Rocketry. I wanted to act in it and do a biopic. The biggest challenge in the way I had written the script was it comes a crucial point in the climax where I, as Nambi Narayan, fade away and the real Nambi Narayan comes in, and it has to be seamless. It is a biggest risk I took. I felt really angry that the industry and the people didn't recognize the efforts going behind that moment. But to hand over the baton to him at a very crucial emotional high and not have the audience gasp saying, oh, it's the real Nambi Narayan, but to assume that that's what should have happened anyways, and then go along with the emotions. So the amount of prep it took for me to be the real Nambi Narayan and then fade away quickly. Or the fact that, 1 month before the shoot was to start, I'm writing this, I'm producing this, I'm directing this, I'm acting in it, and I'm doing it in 3 languages, live sound in 8 locations around the world. And another huge cap is forced on my head, helmet sort, which is to direct the project. And I've never, ever commanded a set or shot a small reel on my own or edited it or put music, nothing. I just was picked up and thrown in the deep end. And I had to direct this movie.
Like a big challenge at this point in your own timeline.
It is not even a challenge. It's horrifying. You won't know the true meaning of mania and fear when you stand on that set and 150 people are ready to pass judgment on you because they think you're making the biggest mistake of your career. Not only is so much money in there, you're acting in it, you're directing it, you're producing it, and you've written it. And you're doing it in 3 languages. And the biggest lesson on how to handle stress in my life was kind of given as a boon to me before the first shot of Rocketry, because I was so nervous. I felt sort of like what Arjuna felt before Krishna started the Updesham, and I was standing there and I was wondering, what am I thinking, Maddie? How are you going to do this? This is ridiculous. If you don't even never called action or cut in your life. And I don't know what I was doing. Some friend of mine from Los Angeles called, and I was ready to give up. And I was ready to say, you know what, guys, this is stupid. I don't know how you're not able to see how stupid this is, but this is stupid. Let's just call it off. Let me just regroup and find a director to do it. And he called at the right time and he said, Maddie, you're already there, man. What are you going to lose? Put the camera, just take 1 shot. Just take 1 step at a time, 1 shot at a time. If you think you're still not getting it, cancel it after the end of the day. But take your first shot now. And I said, you know what? Okay, you're right. That makes a lot more sense. And Ranveer, I took my first shot. And as I took the shot, I saw it being a complete replication of what I had envisaged when I wrote that scene. That was exactly it. And then I said, okay, hey, great. Let's do it. Let's do another shot and another shot. And the biggest lesson in stress, which is 1 step at a time. If you're skiing, for instance, and you're looking at the skis when you're skiing, you'll fall. They always say when you're skiing, look down the slope to where you're heading, the body will take you there. So as far as handling stress, it was exactly the opposite. Look right in front of your step. Just take that one step and the next step. And I ended up finishing Rocketry.
One wouldn't imagine that someone like you also feels that amount of stress at this stage of your career. Because you would have probably seen all of it till now.
Not really. No. Every day is a monster, man. I'm telling you.
Why do you choose to wrestle with it again and again?
Like I said, I'm not ready to retire yet. So if I find a path of least resistance, I don't take it. I need to take the path of most resistance because I can.
One layer deep. Why?
So that's what I'm saying. If I conquer that big problem, the lesser ones are easy to manage. You don't see it. I mean, if I'm, the reason they tap you before you give an injection is that pain is a lot more than the small prick that you're going to feel. So I want to do this all the time to every part of my mind, so that small pricks are irrelevant.
How was your childhood?
Most blessed childhood I can imagine. It had all its challenges and it had all its trauma. And I believe trauma and childhood stress is very, very important.
What was the trauma?
Oh, the trauma was like, I didn't have as much as a cycle as the rest of the person. The rest of my friends were. My dad was very sure that he didn't want to make me grow up privileged, even though both of them were working. He spent the money at the right places, but he would not indulge me. The trauma was that, why do I have to walk to school and all my friends can have cycles? Or, I come back home in the evening and there's nobody to feed me. I have to wait for Ma to get back at 6 o'clock. So this is when I was a child. You're talking about childhood, that kind of trauma. But apart from that, the fact that I was not great at studies and I was always being compared to other people who were studying for so many hours. And I was actually called the Shaitaan of the society. Mothers used to say, don't play with Balaji, which was my pet name, because he's not a good guy. He uses profanities and he, climbs trees and he pets dirt street dogs. All conditionings that they thought was not right for growing up. So that does, being judged does add a lot of trauma to you when you're a child. But trauma is a big word, Ranveer. It's a word I think that's sometimes overexposed and overexploited. Stress is going to be there, like it or lump it, and you really have to hug it. And once you do that, you'll find your own way of getting over it. Most people try to avoid stress and get into bigger ones.
Rohit Shetty had said this in a recent interview. I think he said that the issue nowadays is that most young people are mixing up the feeling of stress with the feeling of work.
Hard work.
With hard work, yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. He's absolutely right.
In terms of, if you want to go somewhere in life, that means you'll have to break out a little bit. That means you'll probably have to exchange something, which probably is your sense of comfort. You have to get out of your comfort zone.
That's a killer. Comfort zone should be just removed from everybody's life till you're in a point where you want to retire from life. It's just the last place in the world where creativity or survival instincts, get generated.
Hey, if you enjoyed today's clip, make sure you check out all the other clips we've uploaded on this channel. You'll find a clip related to almost every single topic as long as you're willing to search for it.